I'm in here with ChristmasLights.o, and tonight I have a special guest on that I actually got to see this past weekend, and you may have got to see her too if you were at the Huge Convention. The Huge Convention is a huge pressure washing convention. Get it? Pressure washing convention. There was about 1,500 people there, and it was a great time. I actually got to speak, and I posted a picture on my Facebook side of things. And so, if you were at the Huge, put in the comments that you were there, and maybe you might know this girl on the other side here that I will have on tonight. But you know, if you don't get leads, you can't get Christmas light jobs. And so that's what we're going to really hit on tonight of how to get leads, how to grow our Christmas lighting business. And so this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do this of what we're going to, how you can actually grow your Christmas light business through Facebook ads. This is going to be mostly through Facebook ads, is how to do Facebook ads for Christmas lights. And so with that, I had a great weekend. Like I said, I got to speak. There was about 150, 200 people in the room that I spoke in. And so that was pretty awesome to have a packed out room. And I got to meet a lot of people. We got to shake a lot of hands. We did have our Christmas light booth, and Donovan was the man about making sure people stopped at the booth. He was throwing people and grabbing them by the back of the neck and making sure that they were coming into our booth. And so that was a lot of fun to do that. LinkedIn has given me more leads than anything so far, and that's awesome. LinkedIn can be a really good tool. I wanted to talk to her, but I definitely didn't find her. Well, you probably didn't find Ashley because she's only like 5 foot tall, and I was actually in this picture bending my head down so she didn't feel so short. And so that is what it is. Kids asleep now, time to listen to the master. So, all right, Ashley. Ashley, I met Ashley probably about a year ago or so. She's a BBB member. And so we go to Nashville every quarter. And so this is how I know Ashley. Ashley is a pretty cool chick, and she's a lot of fun to go and have time and talk about business and all of those awesome things that we do at BBB. So Ashley, just tell us a little bit about who are you, where are you from, all of those things.
Okay. Um, well, I'm from Florida. I'm born and raised. I'm not from the part of Florida that's known for Florida Man. I'm in South Florida. So I think that's kind of a fun fact. I've had my business, which is One Love Social, for about 3 years, 3.5 years now. Uh, Facebook ads have been my thing pretty much since 2016. And so, after college, I had a couple of pretty big jobs where it was my sole job to do and run Facebook advertising for like medium-sized businesses. So obviously I worked with a lot of big budgets, and at one point I was just like, man, I could totally do this for the smaller guys. Like, everybody has an opportunity when it comes to Facebook advertising. It's not just for the Coca-Colas or the Amazons. In fact, Facebook actually really likes the local businesses, and they reward you with more, with better performing ads and more exposure. So yeah, that's kind of my story. That's kind of how One Love Social evolved and started, and we got into Christmas light installation, Facebook ads last year, more or less because we had clients who were getting into it, and since they already found success with us, with other niches that they were in, we started running, ads for Christmas lights. And we have quite a bit of data from last year, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about it and hopefully help you a little bit with your Facebook ads this season.
So I want to hit on this because I personally never had much luck with Facebook ads either, and especially in the pressure washing side. And you actually don't even do pressure washing side with Facebook because you kind of focus on the garbage cans and Christmas lights, and you kind of niche down into those versus doing it for pressure washing. And even the lawn care, I've never had luck with my pressure washing business. But last year, I know a couple people that I've trained, Jeremy Murphy or Jason Murphy out of Louisville. He had over about 600, 700 leads come in through Facebook. and he did get a lot of leads. His lead process is a little different than a lot of people. He looks up the house. If the house payment is less than what he's going to charge, he just don't even send them the quote. And I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but that's how he did it. Ended up doing right around $600,000 last year, and very little in AdWords spend, but it was mostly in Facebook. I got Paul Gardner up in Fredericksburg. He ended up spending about $10,000 in AdWords. And he hit right at $250,000. And so, before this and before I knew people hitting those types of numbers with Facebook, I would have never believed it. But being that I've actually seen it and seeing it work, it will work and it will get you money. And we were talking, you had a client that hit, about 100,000 with 300 Facebook ad leads, right? And so, yes, which ended up being roughly about $4,000 or $5,000. And so that's kind of where I'm hitting at, and that's kind of why I'm bringing Ashley on, is so that way we can talk about Facebook ads and how you can get leads with Facebook ads, right? Because it's not just, hey, I'm going to get leads with Google, signs, all these other things. Yes, we're still going to put signs out. Yes, we're still going to do different things, but we are also going to do some things to be able to do this. So One Love Social, I don't know who the Facebook user is, but yes, she is from One Love Social. Yeah. So Facebook is definitely something that we can use to grow our business. So if we're going to use Facebook, what are some things that we need to think about and consider when we're using Facebook to try to get leads for Christmas lights?
There's a couple things. I mean, you want to make sure you have your sales process down, right? You would figure that out before we start running ads. But, as far as ads go, I love having a good hook. Sometimes with Christmas lights, I mean, the hook is, we're going to put your Christmas lights up. That's a hook enough. But we like to add some urgency. And so I think anytime you can add urgency to an ad, and you probably want to do it in your ad copy.
Before we get too far, what is a hook?
A hook, an offer of some sort, something to hook somebody and get them to stop scrolling and for them to say, oh, look at that offer, or let me keep reading, let me take action. It's a fun marketing word for an offer.
Because Facebook is more of a passive, right? We got, it's kind of like I say with EDDM. It's, you got to get that person to stop scrolling from one finger to the next. Versus with EDDM, we got to get someone hooked on that postcard from the mailbox to the garbage can. So we got to catch that attention fast, right? That's what a hook would be considered. Also, of how do we get them to stop scrolling? Correct?
Yes.
So obviously we need a good hook. We need something to stop them fast. And then what's the next thing that we need to look at? Do we just want to be like, hey, I hang Christmas lights? Or what are some copy that we may want to try to use to try to get them wanting to buy our stuff?
I mean, honestly, hey, I hang Christmas lights actually is a great headline. I mean, that also catches attention. It's not, with the way that we do ads and when we find the best results, it's when we talk like our clients, our business owners. It's not when we're super buttoned up, not that we're necessarily using slang, but we want to feel comfortable, and it's not, again, it's not LinkedIn, right? We don't want to be too buttoned up, and we just want to be casual about things. But I mean, a typical ad copy that we would use would be like, hey Asheville neighbors, this year we're putting up Christmas lights. We only have 144 spots left, or you would use a smaller number. Maybe it's like, we have 17 spots left to fill for October. And then you would say, did you know that we also, like, you want to talk about like the value that you're bringing. So most of you are probably doing custom cut lights, right? You're probably putting them up, taking them down, you're doing the maintenance. So you kind of want to list the value that you're bringing and why they should have someone else do it as opposed to them doing it, or them saying that they're going to do it and never end up doing it. So I think just kind of shouting out your audience in that very first line is really important. And then the next couple of lines, be creative, but talk about the value and what you're bringing and why they should hire a professional like yourself or your company to install the lights. And then always the last line, if I don't know if you guys are like writing this down, but this is really good stuff. Like the last line of your copy should tell them exactly what to do next, because people are dumb. I'm dumb. We're all dumb. Right? Like somebody needs to tell us what to do. Like Jason told me how to get on here, because you need to click this button. Otherwise I would have just been sitting here like not on the live. So that last line is important. So whatever your call to action is, and by call to action, I mean like the button, right, that you're going to put on the ad. So you have many options. You could do Messenger, you could do call now, learn more, sign up, book now, schedule, any of that. So that last line, you want it to say, tap the link below, tap get offer, tap call now, whatever that is, and whatever your offer is. So call today to get, your Christmas lights installed. But
Well, and then, talking about that, my wife always says, you got to explain it as if they're like a 10-year-old, right?
yes,
We
fifth
have
grade.
to we have to talk about it. We have to, instruct them what to do. And so that's a good point of what you were saying of all the buttons that we can hit out there. Is it better to keep them on Facebook and either do like lead forms or Messenger, or is it better to send them to a website from Facebook?
So if you asked me this 2 years ago, I would have said, bring them to a landing page, educate them more on that landing page, get the conversion there. But you're not asking me 2 years ago, you're asking me today. And so what's working today right now is lead forms. What's also working really well is bringing the ads directly to Messenger.
So it's keeping it on
so
it's keeping it people on Facebook, and because Facebook loves when you stay on Facebook, and that's why they will reward you, and they reward you in a couple different ways, right? They will reward you with cheaper ads usually, or cheaper clicks versus sending them off to a website. Mm-hmm. Is that not correct?
It's very correct. We're in the times where Facebook will restrict your page, they'll shut down your ad account. Like we want to take the least amount of risk as possible, and it's the least riskiest to stay on Facebook, because we're literally doing what Facebook wants us to do. So those are the two ways that I would recommend. It doesn't mean that sending them to a website or a landing page is awful. It doesn't mean that at all. It's just, I spend close to $1 million in ad spend a year, with our clients. So I'm telling you the data that I see, and you need to go lead form or Messenger or call now if you have a robust sales system. I know that works really well.
The grounds guy said, sign me up, Ashley. You know my number. Talk tomorrow.
That's
and
right.
So there is a link in the bottom if you want to do a call with Ashley and talk about it. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. You're jumping the gun, the grounds guy. You're jumping the gun. And if you all have any Facebook questions, definitely put them up here and I'll get through them. Can I DM her on info for using her? Yes, so you can definitely, I would probably go, she has a Calendly link, so then that way you can sit there and get a call with her and talk. It's a 30-minute call, but I don't know if it takes that long, but but that's what you can do. So what are some things, is pictures better on the ad, or videos better on the ads, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. It's weird. It's weird what people like sometimes. And I tell my clients this all the time, like every service area is different. So, I mean, we put our all into everything we do. I was just about to say, I put up the ugliest graphic. I mean, it was pretty ugly, but it was intentionally ugly. And I can't tell you how many hits we got on it, and how many conversions. And it was like kind of something that I just did last minute. I was like, all right, I'm going to try this. I'll just test it out. And it was amazing, right? But then I've also had in other areas where the video just kills it, right? So I think if you're going to be doing this on your own, have some graphics and have some videos and do a combination of both.
And let's talk about that, right? Testing. How important is testing our ads?
It's important, but it's I'm like probably the worst person to ask about testing. I think it's just because me and my team have been doing it forever. Like I feel like there's not a big testing period. But with Facebook ads, it's really easy to test. I mean, you will know if we're doing it the right way, if you guys are doing it the right way, you put your money in. If you don't see a conversion or a lead come in 5 days, it's not working. So, switch it up. And you don't always have to switch everything up. Maybe your copy sucked, right? Maybe you really weren't speaking to your people. Maybe it was just unclear, right? So then I would switch the copy up a little bit, run that for a couple of days. If you don't get anything and it's still crickets, next you want to fix your graphic or your video. But the cool thing with Facebook is it's pretty immediate. You're going to know right away if something is.
Yeah, and so what I mean by testing is just like, are you getting clicks or not? If you're not getting clicks,
Yeah.
maybe change, but don't change too much, right? Change one,
No,
because if you
one
change
thing at
three
a
or four
time.
things, if you change three or four things, you don't know what you tested was right or not. So
Exactly. One
Jeremy
thing
Main said snake oil with Pink Pro Wash.
Jeremy.
Is Facebook ads all snake oil?
No, Jeremy. First of all, he's going to be a client in the next month. What are you talking about? No, it's not. But it's not for every industry. And maybe people might hate me for saying this, but there's a very good reason why we're only in specific niches. Usually we're in the niches where people aren't necessarily searching too much on Google for them. There's a reason we're not doing pressure washing ads because So anyways, it's not snake oil, Jeremy. Okay, go next.
All right. So this is a good question. Is that who should we be advertising to, women or men? But before that, figuring out our target market. There is tools out there that we can know who our target market might be, right? And so, how fine tuned can we get to an area with Facebook ads? Can we get, so like Cincinnati is, nice and big round circle. And up here in the east side, up northeast is like where all the money is, right? There's Indian Hill. That's where all the money is. Down here in northern Kentucky, there's one little spot called Union, and it's way down here. Everybody else in the middle, I really don't want to target them because those are not going to be my customers. Right. So obviously, if the USPS has a tool that will tell us, the average income of that route, so we can kind of fine tune who our target markets are. And if you want to go check that out, you can go to USPS and look up EDDM targeting or something like that. It'll bring it up. I just looked at it yesterday, and you can literally just pull up Cincinnati and it'll tell you like where all the high end zones are. Because when I had my business, I did it through Google Ads, but I only ran Google Ads in those certain areas that I knew where people would be using this. With Facebook, how targeted can we get? Can we get down to the subdivisions? Can we get down to talk to me a little bit about the targeting side of things.
Well, yeah, I mean, technically you could, if you knew the exact address or maybe the clubhouse of the subdivision, you could. I would warn you, though, that your audience size really shrinks, and it usually has the adverse effect of what you might think it is. Not to say that you have to go super broad, but you're better off targeting zip codes that you want to be in, as opposed to just like, oh, I like this one subdivision because it has 1,000 homes in it. Your chances of being able to reach them drops, even though it's the opposite of like I said, of what we intuitively think. But I always suggest zip codes, and you can exclude areas too. Sometimes we do that in our targeting, but you can really niche down as much as you want with your targeting.
Well, and I always say too, I know on AdWords when people are actually looking at work, but people do look at Facebook on there too at work and get paid for it, right? Where are
Mhm.
they working at? Yeah, they might live here, but most of those people aren't working there. Yeah, some of them are working there, but a lot of people are working in the city, right? And so that's kind of FUBAR is what I said there earlier, but it is true that even that I'm not going to go down here in northern Kentucky where I know nobody's going to be using me, right?
Mm-mm.
And so those are definitely some things that we can talk about of how to target, what to target. Um, and so targeting is important. And so with targeting, what about female versus male? Do we want to target male or do we just mostly want to target female? And do we have an age limit too?
This is something you guys could test, and I do find, again, every service area is a little different. Um, my rule of thumb is you target to both men and women unless there is a very good reason not to. I have Here's a very good reason not to. I have a laser hair removal client. 90% of their customers are women, so I'm not going to waste that ad spend on the men, and that would be my reasoning. Whereas, wives are the decision makers, so are the husbands. I mean, it's I would say for holiday lights, you want to target both. It's not going to hurt your campaign whatsoever.
Now, I will say most of our clients were females. And the thing about females is this is an emotional buy, right? This isn't a need. It's not a want. I guess it could be a want, but it's an emotional buy, right? And when we're talking about emotions, especially with female, they can be all over the board. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. But they're here one day and gone the next. And so emotions are, with this being an emotional buy, it is important that we make sure that we are, pulling on those heartstrings, right? Because a lot of times we're pulling on those heartstrings before we ever get started and even talk on the
Mm-hmm.
phone. And so target, what's this? Target both. The women don't want their husbands on the roof. Husbands don't want to be on the roof. And that's definitely true, right? And so with that, when we're dealing with this is something that I would probably target both also. I probably wouldn't target down too young, maybe like 25 and
Yes.
25 and older. You got to be able to afford this stuff, and a lot of times they're not going to be able to afford it. So that is definitely something to think about. Nathan asked a question. He put south of New Circle Road, which is at Lexington, Kentucky, is about 123,000. Is that pretty decent, or should you broaden that up even more, or get more
Oh,
people in there?
that's decent. Very decent.
Okay. And then the next, Tristan put, when should we putting out ads? Right now? Should we start trying to test the waters now, or should we
Yes.
wait till November and then start our Facebook ads?
No. Now. Because we did talk about it. There's going to be a little bit of testing, right? So let's get that out of the way. Um, and don't you want to fill up those spots? Gosh, start filling up September, fill up October.
Even this
There's no reason to wait.
Facebook user here got 7 Christmas light estimates to give tomorrow from one Facebook post. So definitely start doing it now if we can.
Yeah,
Right.
that's great.
So, what about just regular Facebook? Can we get leads from regular Facebook?
Sure, those are free. Yes, I mean, and now look, if you only have your mom and dad and your sister following you on your Facebook page, no. But if you're sharing that page and if you're sharing posts in like community groups, or I mean, you can even advertise this in like marketplace, that stuff's free and you should totally be utilizing that. Um, so technically, yes, you can definitely get leads for free by posting and sharing those posts in your local community groups.
Last year we sold 21 jobs to women and 7 to men. This is a good question, and it has to do with Facebook ads from Tristan again. Are you on a lifetime budget or a daily budget? Which do you recommend?
We always do daily, unless it makes sense to do lifetime. Daily all the way. Then we can go in and you can go in and make some bids. So maybe you got it at like 25 a day. Then it's the weekend. You're like, okay, it's a weekend time. It's go time. Then you push it to like 50 to 75 a day. That's why you kind of want to do daily. It just makes it a lot easier for you, and there really isn't a reason to do lifetime for Christmas ads.
The grounds got put. The more spend doesn't necessarily need more leads, right? It's more complicated than that.
Yeah, but yes, you're correct. It doesn't necessarily mean that. But let's say you say, okay, I'm going to budget $600 for ad spend in September. And at the end of September, let's say you have 50 leads. Well, now you have a baseline. So, obviously the ads were working. You had 50 people come in. It's been a month. Now you have data. And then I would feel confident telling you, okay, well, if you keep at that same campaign, right, you're doing the same thing, then if you double, theoretically, you should get almost double of the leads. So that's after you already have a successful campaign. That you got to wait until you have a successful campaign until you start throwing crazy numbers and money into it.
Yeah. And so, reason why it's important to get as many leads as we can, because it's a numbers game. At the end of the day, a lot of times as it's just like Christmas lights, it's just like pressure washing, it's just like anything. A lot of people focus on, the equipment or how we get these lights up, or is this bulb perfectly centered in the middle? Or are they pointed up or are they pointed out? And that don't mean a hill of beans at the end of the day. What really means a hill of beans is how many leads we can get so we can close those jobs. So that way we can make more money, right? And as we get our averages up, and if our close rate's only 15 to 20%, that's not a very high close rate. And so that's why, if we only get 100 leads during this Christmas light season and you only close 15 to 20%, that means you only got 15 to 20 jobs. And let's just say you're really good your very first year or your second year, and you got an average of $2,000 per job. That's only $30,000 to $40,000, right? But now, if we can 10x that and we can get 1,000 leads, now we can get 150 jobs at a $2,000 close rate. Now we're talking $3,000 or $300,000 worth of Christmas lights. And that's what we're talking about here, of why it's important of how do we get more leads, because it's all a numbers game at the end of the day. This is a numbers game. How can I get more leads so that I can get more customers and get more money? And so that's what's important about this stuff. This week we learned a whole lot of things about some of our competitors' training out there, right? We learned that one guy that's teaching the training, his average truck is $3,000 a day. Well, Donovan's average truck is $10,000 a day. How does he get $10,000 a day? His average ticket's $2,400, and he does 4 to 5 jobs a day, and he's at $10,000 a day, right? And so it's important about this stuff so that way you can grow and be successful. And that's the most important thing, is how can we get enough leads, fill in our pipeline, and Ashley kind of hit on this in the very beginning. Just because you're getting leads doesn't mean you're going to be successful. If we don't have a process of how to process these leads, you will fail, because there's days that you will literally get 100 leads in a day. The week of Thanksgiving is hell week. You will get 100 leads a day. And if you don't know how to get through them babies fast and how to make sure that you are doing the things you need to do to pre-qualify these people, if you're trying to give everybody a bid that comes in, there's going to be a lot of no's. 15 to 20% out of 100, that's 80 no's. That's 85 people telling you go pound salt. That's what that is. So it's important to not only just get the leads, but how do we process the leads? What's your system to process the leads? Now, with Facebook, and they're coming in through messages, there's things that we can do that will help us speed up the process, right? What are some things that we can do to help speed up the process? And I'm kind of going at either a bot or an instant reply to see, hey, is this a really good lead, or is this somebody that, because instead of on the phone when you tell them your average or your minimum price is $600 and your average ticket price is $1,500, and they like, what the hell? There ain't no way I pay you to do that. You're crazy. There's no way you're getting that much. But then you're going to get the people that just sit there, and the best thing you can do is shut up. We talked about this before we get on. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth to shut up and listen. As soon as you tell them that, they're going to go quiet. The phone's going to go quiet, and they're going to say, okay, yeah, that sounds good, right? And so as Facebook, what are some ways that we can help with that process to help with us knowing, hey, do we need this? Is this a good lead or not?
Well, you know what? Let's talk about Messenger. Everybody has a business page. You can set it. It's literally in there. This is like, it's not even rocket science. Like, anybody could do it. You just got to go in settings. You can set up an automated response. In that automated response, think, what would save you a little bit of time? So maybe you actually have a calendar, right, where they can schedule their own free estimate. If you don't, I had a couple clients do it last year. It was beautiful. So then maybe that message might say something like, and you can insert their first name so it sounds, personal. Hey, George, thanks for your interest in Christmas light installation. Here is a link to schedule your appointment. Here is our number. I mean, you could put anything that would make sense. I mean, all in that one automated one. You can even put, you could qualify them on that. You could say, hey, just so you know, it starts at $5 per foot. I'm making this up. I don't know, right? Whatever your numbers are. But you could literally put all of that in there. So then everybody has the same information, and then they'll continue the conversation with you if they have questions, or they're going to click on your link that goes to your calendar. Maybe you prefer that they call, so then you should say, hey, call right now, and you just put your phone number there. But how great for everybody to have the same message immediately the moment that they message you, right? And then you've captured their information, right? You can now message back and forth with them, and they have everything they need to know about you. So
and even with bots, you can kind of go down a link tree, right? If they say yes, then it sends you to this message. If they say no, it sends you down to this line of, just don't worry about it. So then that way we know, hey, and you can even, as soon as it says yes, that it will send you a message. So then that way, or an email, so then you can jump on there and start talking with that customer. And that way, if they say no, then we can go, oh, here's the link to our page of, different cool things. But if they say yes, and then we can say that it will email us to say, hey, go jump on that messenger, so that way we can keep that message going.
But that's not so easy to do. I was just trying to say something easy for everyone.
I'm just saying, there's lots of things out there that can be done.
Yes.
That
anything you can think of. Anything you can think of is you can automate, and sometimes it's having 2 different or 3 different softwares speaking to each other, but literally it's 2022. Whatever you are thinking up in your head, oh, this would be great. If only I could do X, Y, and Z, you can. There's literally a way to do it.
Because, like I say, if I gave you 1,000 leads and you don't know how to handle those 1,000 leads, you're going to be lost, and it doesn't matter what you are, right? I know Paul was talking that he had a different sales guy, and he wasn't on the sales guy there for a while. And, the good leads, he was like, oh, I don't want to, I don't know what the bid does. And they were sitting there for 2-3 days. Well, you got to be quick on this stuff. This is an emotional buy. When she's wanting that, she's wanting the price within 20 to 30 minutes, because we want that yes to come really fast. And so we have to be on it, and not, oh, we'll get to this 2-3 days from now, because 2 or 3 days from now we got another 100 leads coming in, and another 100 leads coming in. And the next thing you know, you are covered up, and you're just like, what do I do? And, and I know I'm talking big numbers, but it's literally true of 100 leads coming in a day. It can, during that busy season, even 25, 30 leads. If you don't know what you're doing, 25, 30 leads is going to take you a little bit, because if you try to give a quote, each quote's going to take you anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. And that's if you're good. That's if you're on your game and you're doing your pictures and stuff. It's going to take you 5 to 10 minutes. And it's all the little things. We always holler about the little thing. Bobby Walker talks about the little things. It's the little things when we're dealing with this stuff too. You might think that 10 minutes is not much, but if we do 25 quotes at 10 minutes, we're at 250 minutes, right? We're talking a lot of time when we're talking 250 minutes, and that's just 25 quotes at 10 minutes. And so these are some things to think about of when we're dealing with getting these leads in. Yes, it's great to get leads in, and yes, we need leads, but we need to make sure we have our systems down when we're doing this. Otherwise, you're going to hate your life at the end of Christmas lights. How much do you recommend to spend during the next 4 months? Do you recommend advertising the takedown too? And some of this is going to depend on what's your goal, right? If your goal is to do $50,000, your spend is going to be completely different than if your goal is to do $250,000. What's your thoughts on what you should spend?
I'm taking out my calculator. Hold on.
I'm always 10% of whatever your goal is. If you want to do $100,000, $10,000 in marketing.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I mean, but not everybody has the same goals, right? Like this might be maybe some of your first years, you're trying it out, you don't have the largest team. I think at the bare minimum, you want to have in your head about 5,000 for ad budget for the season. Minimum. We're not talking $100,000 return on 5,000, but that's a really good. It's a good place to start. If you don't have the biggest budget in the world.
And I would about guarantee that if you put $5,000 in a budget on that, you will get $30,000 to $50,000. You probably will get more than that, but that's kind of where you'll be at. DJ just signed up. Talk to her tomorrow at 1:45.
Cool.
Not all leads are lead. Definitely want to target the right audience. That is 100% true. What's the campaign objective? Engagement, leads, traffic, etc.
Leads.
Because that's going to send you to the leads form, right? Or to Messenger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's
talk a little bit about these. What does engagement do?
It's great for branding. Great for getting likes on your posts. Great for like brand authority. Like we do it with a lot of our clients as a branding tool. But that's their objective, right? It isn't necessarily these particular clients. The objective isn't necessarily leads. It's to get people in the community to keep seeing them constantly, to get people to like a certain post.
What about traffic?
Traffic is like probably the cheapest objective out there. And that's just the idea with traffic is Facebook's trying to find people that will just click on a link, right? So if you're driving them to your website, they're going to click on your link, but that doesn't mean that they're ready to convert on anything. That just means that they're more likely to click the link and go to your website. So it's cheaper traffic, but it's also the most unqualified traffic.
Gotcha.
And then leads would be exactly what everybody here is looking for, is leads. That's what you want to do.
First time this year, posted a Facebook group, did 5 quotes on Saturday. Everyone thought it was way too expensive, $5 a foot. Well, you need to raise your prices to $8 a foot. I want to start targeting wealthy neighborhoods. How much should I expect to pay on insurance during this? I have a full-time job and plan on doing both. More is flexible. Insurance is just going to depend on where you get it from. Go to a local guy. You're probably going to be about $1,000 to $2,000 on it. And it's your first year. You got to believe in yourself. I know it's hard to believe that you can get $8 a foot for Christmas lights. And again, you only got 5 quotes. So that means you got to get another 3 to 4 before you're going to get a yes. So that's literally what it is. That's why we started $8 a foot. And that's why you're only going to get out of that. You're only going to get 2 out of 100 leads. You're only going to get 10 to 15, well, 15 to 20 jobs probably. So we want those jobs to be very profitable. And so that's why we're at the $8 a foot. Yes, I would like to know more info on that process. That was talking about automated messages. We already talked about that. Are bots included in the ads? No. Or how do you do your side of it? If someone signs up with you to run their Facebook ads, um, how will they get to know what that ad is coming in?
Oh, yeah, there's automations. Like with us, absolutely, there's automation. We'll talk with you first to figure out what your sales process is and what's going to work best for you. But yeah, typically we'll send you a text message the moment somebody comes in. That text is going to have just a little snippet of their information, their first name, phone number, and what kind of lights they're looking for or what area of the house they want. So a little bit of detail, so you can make the decision to call them right then and there. So we have that. We do that for most clients, but we also can do like automations in Messenger as well. I mean, we can get pretty robust, and it can be a little customizable too.
Ground guy asks, thoughts on an employment campaign. I'm afraid that we're going to get too busy.
Oh, I don't have too many thoughts on it. It's not. We don't run them.
I'm going to say always hiring, right? If you talk to people like Dom, you're always hiring at this point. You always have a list of people ready to go and getting those things ready to be there and ready to go. I know I've talked to Dom on the pressure washing or on the pressure washing side. I haven't brought him on here, but we was actually talking about employees the other day of how many, how do we get those employees and how do we keep them ready to go? And Dom actually has a system called Hire Who that can help with that too, that will help automate everything and make sure that that funnel is always full of people ready to go. I got so many leads and trying to juggle them, and it's tough from Facebook user. But closed a $2,500 job today. That's what happens. It could happen for sure. You never know. I don't know what he's talking about. We get a lot of talking going on the side. Engagement is probably for the people who have extra money to spend on that kind of thing. Yes, you can do lead forms. Can you do lead forms on Facebook? Yes.
Yes.
We've been booking jobs for the 2 weeks, just getting started. Awesome.
Excellent.
Awesomeness. What's your marketing? Facebook. How do we get a hold of Ashley to discuss pricing? We'll talk about that here shortly. That way, if anybody else has any questions here, we'll go down that route. Facebook, and Google. Yeah, I mean, I like Google. I know last year Donovan, he did spend Google ads, but his Google ads isn't where he got the majority of his job. He got more majority of his jobs from Google My Business, Google Business Profile is where Donovan gave out a lot of his bids. Was through Google My Business. He was posting 3-4 times a day. He was posting pictures, and Google loved that. And so he spent a couple $1,000s in AdWords, but that's not where a lot of his majority of his business came from. It all came from through Google My Business. I'm pretty sure he talked to you that he was going to talk about doing Facebook this year. So that is definitely something to think about. What's Donovan's secret to giving out quotes? His wife is the secret. Now, and he has a process, right? It's just a matter of how that lead comes in, and they usually send out an email kind of saying what it is, and then give them a couple different options, option A, option B, and then they will actually give the actual price for them. If I go to the training, how much will it cost to get started afterwards? Really, I mean, to get started afterwards, you're going to have a little bit of upfront for marketing, whether you do signs, whether you do Facebook, whether you do AdWords. But kind of like Ashley was saying, I would put away about $4,000 to $5,000 in marketing if I could, and that will set you up for success. That's a good question, Ashley. Okay, I'm just getting started. I don't have a website. Can I do Facebook ads?
Sure can. And it's crazy. You don't need a website. You really don't even need to Google my business, which is now on Maps. Um, that's the beauty of Facebook ads. You just need a business page on Facebook, and you can run ads.
Do you work with multiple people in the same market?
No, it's not. I mean, if look, if it's like a 5 mile radius, right? If it's really, really small overlap, uh, probably, but that doesn't happen as often as you might think it does. If it is your service area, no. If you're already a client of ours, we will not be taking another client in that area.
All right. If Brian Lee and Jason endorses Ashley, then she's legit. And here's the thing, guys, and Gary knows this because he probably watched me. I don't promote a lot of people. I don't. I don't. I don't promote a lot of people for marketing, and it's more for the reason of I've got screwed in the past, and that's one reason why I do not promote other people. And so for me to bring Ashley on is, I knew she was going to talk about Facebook ads and help that side of it. I've been around her for almost a year now. We've probably done BBB at 3 or 4 different times, plus the huge. And so that's one of the reasons why I've seen her success with other people. And that's one reason why I brought her on here. The one thing I like about Ashley is she found out that, doing Facebook ads for pressure washing, she didn't have success with it. So she kind of gave it up. So that's why, but she did have success with the garbage bins. If for garbage cleaning, she had success with it. So she kept going with that. And in fact, I don't know if I can say who one of your customers are. He's big guy on TikTok. You've probably seen this dude on TikTok as one of her customers. And so that's pretty cool. And so that is one reason why I'm promoting her. And I'm allowed her to come on and talk about it because obviously I want you all to help. I want you all to grow, and Facebook ads is definitely a way that you can do this. I've given her a couple people already that will be signing up with her, and so this is something that is huge. Now, if you don't have a large budget, then you can go sell jobs on Facebook, right? You can get your Google My Business. We can get some Facebook stuff going, and we can do organic stuff. If we don't have, I know I said it's nice to have $5,000 to put in marketing, but a lot of people are starting up from nothing, and I understand that. And you can start up from nothing. You're going to do the Facebook groups. You're going to do Nextdoor. You're going to do all of those things that we talk about for free that you can do for free, right? There's 2 ways to get business. You either take the time and do it yourself, or you spend money. And those are the 2 ways you get business. And so with that, this is something that, if you want to do this, I'm not saying, hey, don't use her because you ain't got no money. If you ain't got no money, then don't use her. I mean, go sell 3 or 4 jobs. That way you can buy your lights and then go sell another 3 or 4 jobs. So then you can put money in marketing. And that's how you can grow and be successful. I'm getting fired up, Jason Guyman.
Woo!
She kind of made it clear for Facebook ads not to send them to a website. That's true. And every time I've used the people you promote, I've had good results. Insurance Guy, Mindsaw, and a long list of random things, and that's the reason why I promote only certain people. I really don't go promoting a lot of people. I promote people that I know, like, and trust, and I would actually buy from them if it was my personal business. And so that's, in the past, when I had my pressure washing business, I had all the gurus for Facebook ads, run my Facebook ads, and I barely broke even. And I mean, they were the gurus of the time. They're still out there. They're still promoting their stuff, or they don't really sell at Facebook no more, but they were the gurus. They were the go-to guys for Facebook ads. And they never could do anything. I mean, we spent $20,000-$30,000 on ads, and we barely made our $20,000 or $30,000 back. And so now you can't disappoint me now, Ashley. So I'm promoting, so you got to come through there.
I'll always come through.
I knew this question would come through. I told her that it would. Are you creating ads through Ad Manager or adding it as a Facebook boost?
Yeah, you called it. Ads manager. And for those of you who maybe don't know the difference, what Tristan's saying is you may have seen that boost button on your business page, and it's like, oh, just boost here and blah blah blah. We'll get to tons of people. Um, so that I like to call that like the front office of Facebook where everybody can see. But Ads Manager is actually like the back office. And if you type in business.facebook.com, that's how you're able to get to it. And that's where we create all of our ads. It's a lot more robust, and we can do a lot more with the targeting and all that.
Awesome. So, if let me see here, where did that question go at up here? Um, where did the question? So, how do we get a hold of Ashley to discuss services and prices? So, what are some things that you will be doing if someone wants to work? What are some things that you will help them do if you want to work with Ashley to get Facebook leads?
Like the services that we're gonna offer?
Yeah, something like
Okay.
that. That wasn't a
Okay.
softball pitch. That was, I don't know what that pitch was, but
Um, so with us, basically, we're just trying to take everything off your hands. We're trying to keep you out of the picture as much as we can. We're just trying to feed you as many leads as possible. So that's your job. You take all that, and so we're going to do creative copy. We're going to do the whole like funnel, which is bringing them in from the ad to wherever we decide to, which is probably a lead form or messenger. We'll take care of some of the automation for you as well. Anything we can do to help you close it. And we do all the, targeting. So it's not just like we create it and then walk away. Doesn't Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. I wish it did. But we'll be in there, on a weekly basis, managing the crap out of your accounts and making sure that everything is optimized and we're doing what we can.
and you
And
have a
the
team, correct? It's not just you.
yes, yes, it is no longer just me. We're about a team of five, three full time, and then two kind of part time independent contractors.
Awesome. And so I put the link down in the bottom of this video on Facebook and should be on YouTube. That goes to your Calendarly link, so that way you can schedule a time with Ashley, and she can let you know more about the details of how she can help you if you're in the right, if you're in a good area, or as long as there's nobody already taken that
Mhm.
area. Tristan just put, this woman is awesome. She just made me $50,000 tonight.
Woo! How? What did I do? What did I say? What token was it? What
You gave gold out, right? I mean, this is something that a lot of times we think that, Facebook is one of those things that can we make money off of it? And really, it is our target market. All the old people are going to Facebook. All the young people are still on TikTok, and some of them are on. Some of the old people are starting to move over to TikTok. It's getting more and more. But a lot of your old people are on Facebook, and that is kind of our target market. You got to look at, in our area, it was houses over $300,000. Now, some people that's nothing, but in our area, $300,000 is a big house. Not anymore. That was 5 years ago. Now every house is $300,000. Now our price would probably go up to about 400 or 450 is where we would be at right now. And those are the houses we are targeting to try to get Christmas lights on. And so that's where we are looking for to get Christmas lights on those houses. Because we knew, not always, I never forget, I pulled up at this job, and this house was probably a $100,000 house. And this dude wanted Christmas lights, and he said the last year he did them, the ladder fell down off the ladder fell, and he was stuck up on the roof. And so this year he was going to hire us to do the Christmas lights. So we did Christmas lights on this $100,000 house. and it was an $1,800 job. Now we did another job that was kind of in the same. It wasn't in the same neighborhood, but in the same. This house was. It was 1,000 square foot house. It was a $200,000 house because it's in that neighborhood of a richer neighborhood. And it literally took us 15 minutes to go hang 40 feet of light across the front of the house, right? And that was an $800 job. And that's what we did. And we did that for 5 years. We had that customer all the way through. And so, them are some things that, if we would have raised our minimum, we probably wouldn't have got that. But that's just something that we did, and we had started with that. I just started. Should I muscle through with pressure washing with it being slow until next spring, or should I pivot to Christmas lights right now? If I was just starting, I would probably focus. Actually, this question came up to one of the guys that just took my Indianapolis class. And should I start on pressure washing or should I start on Christmas lights? And honestly, I would probably recommend you start with Christmas lights. This way you'll have a nice run and go, and you can start marketing now. You can start learning that stuff, because by the time you get pressure washing, you're probably not going to do very well in the first place. And so this way we can focus on our Christmas lights. I've had guys do $100,000 to $150,000 their very first year doing Christmas lights. Steve Honecker or Hunker, whatever his last name is, he literally was working at Starbucks and did over almost $100,000 his very first year, right? And so it can be done, depending on where you're at and how much you're willing to put forth and how much are you willing to work to get this done. So it is definitely something that you can do. Before we jump off here, also, if you want to go check out ChristmasLights.io, we are having a in-person training. This is a training that you actually get to hang lights and do. This isn't watch Jason. We came back from this past week from the Huge, and there was guys that took a 2-day Christmas light course and literally couldn't put a male and a female on the plug. I guarantee you will be able to put a male and a female on the lines. And you'll learn why you don't put two males on a line, right? And so we don't like two males on the same line. This isn't gender special people out here, but you will learn how to make sure you will hang Christmas lights and be successful at it. And the beautiful thing about our in-person training is it's not just about hey, I'm going to teach you how to hang Christmas lights, right? We learn a lot what we learned tonight, all about the marketing. We go through Donovan stuff. We actually, he opens his book, so that way you can't say he's lying. You will actually see that he gets to do $10,000 a day per crew. And so the Raleigh training is not full yet, especially for September. October, it's wide open, but if you really want to get into September and that'll help you get your marketing going, I would really push for that for sure. So, and then I will be there. He actually said he was going to be there last night, and his wife, I think, made him sign up today. So that is pretty awesome. Precision Pro Wash and Holiday Lighting in Tennessee. We're booked 90% of last year so far. I love this business. And that's the beautiful thing about it, right? We only got a crappy close rate of 15-20%. But you get about a return rate of 80%. So you having a return rate of 90% is freaking awesome and amazing. And so you've already got a head start of that business. And so that's the beautiful thing about this. I think there's a glitch on the dates page. I clicked October Christmas lights dates and it says September. Okay, I will look at that to make sure that it's not wrong. Is the wine the key to a good ad?
Yes. For me, you might not drink wine, but yes, it is.
Awesome. Well, so I always ask, and you may not read, but what is your favorite book that you would recommend people to read for business wise?
For business?
Yes. So
E-Myth Mastery. It's like everybody should. Is that one of yours too?
Yes, E-Myth. You can't beat the E-Myth, right? That's the best book out there to learn about business. All right, and then the other question is what's a good word of advice before we jump off here?
Like with Facebook ads or just in general?
General, we give a good word of advice before we jump off here.
Don't take things personally.
What do you mean by that?
Well, doesn't matter what anybody thinks about you or what they say about you or even what they say to you. It's a reflection of them, not you. Whether it's good or bad, right? If you just don't let anybody bother you and you don't take things personal, you'll just live a much better life.
And the sad thing of it is, most of the time, our family and our friends are the worst critics of us, and won't
Yes.
stand behind us and won't
Yes.
help you. But they'll be the first ones that jump on the negative side of you. But don't get rid of negativity out of your life, right? Find people that are positive, find people that are like minded. That's why I love Ashley. We both, when we come to BBB, we're all about how can we help each other do business, right? And that's the awesome thing about this. And so that's why I like BBB, because it's a bunch of people that are positive. It's 50 people that are coming in a room, and they're all positive. It's all, how can I grow a business? How can I do something to set us apart, right? Awesome. So go check out the link below. That's Ashley's link, and go sign up for her. It's a free consult. It's a free thing. It doesn't cost you anything. Other than that, hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you.